Big boy on the rails. Okay, little buddy, let's see you run. That was it. Let's give her another try, little buddy. Oh. Hello everybody, welcome back to Old, Frail, and Decrepit. Today we're going to have a look at my American Flyer O-gauge rolling stock and locomotive. So before World War II, American Flyer had O-gauge trains. After the war they went to the S-scale stuff, which at some point I'll probably do a video on that because I've got a little box of that too. So tonight we're going to run the American Flyer O-gauge. I've only got, 5 locomotives here, 4 locomotives here, so shouldn't take too terrible long to run them. They are pretty old, and some of them are a little finicky. But we're going to run them, or at least see if we can get them to run, and show you what stock that I do have here. All right, so this is what I have for American Flyer locomotives in the O-gauge. We'll start out with this little one right here, which this is a cast iron. I picked it up at a antique store. It didn't run, and you'll see from the video it still doesn't run really good, and it gets really hot fast. So may have to take it apart and see if I can do some more. If any of you out there know anything about these really old American Flyers, you might give me some tips on that, because this one doesn't seem to want to really go. And this one here, I picked this one up at a train show, a little train show in a small town not too far from Omaha. And it is really, really heavy. And this I would guess to be one of the really late pre-war, because the type of rolling stock, as you can see from the tender here, it kind of matches these the rolling stock here. So this would have been just before the war, and they're a little smaller, as you can see, comparing that with a little earlier pre-war. There's a little bit of a size difference, but this locomotive is a nice running locomotive, really heavy and pulls quite a bit of freight. And what we have here is what they call the Minnehaha. Now this one, when I got it, the motor on it was completely seized, and as I got into it I found they had tried to put some sort of different gear into it from some other brand, and it just wouldn't run. Well, I bought a donor locomotive with the same type of a connection item, and between the two motors I was able to make one motor that run in this. I also at one point had a Marx motor in this, and it of course ran very well with that, but I had to kind of jerry-rig it to get it in. The cars that are with that don't belong with that, as you'll notice. They're a little bit short. These go with some sort of Burlington Flyer type thing, but you know, some streamlined train, but somebody had painted them up and they sold them as a set. I'm just glad to have it. Kind of ugly, but so ugly it's cute. This is the Hiawatha, and when I got it, it had a Marx motor in it that was basically just probably the worst Marx, or the worst condition Marx motor I'd ever seen. Well, seeing how they'd already gotten it converted to Marx, I went ahead and just put a better motor in it. Only I put one in that smokes. And as you'll look at the videos, you'll see that this one here, it smokes very, very well. And the tender that goes with that was actually the first American Flyer piece that I had picked up. I had bought it with a Marx lot of stuff back in the early 90s, and I paid $1.50 for it. And if you look at the cost of those now, you can see I got a pretty good deal on that.